Alright guys, on the way back from work I decided to stop and check the old road bed. It's only about maybe 40 feet of this road that really kind of washes in a way where the dirt gets exposed, but well, there's a lot of leaf litter too. And it's adjacent to a field that if it were plowed would host quite a trove of artifacts. So this particular spot generally produces something after a good rain. Got a couple things I want to show you poked out. I think a couple things, almost positive. This one for sure. And that is just a really good example of a preform. They were working that piece right there. Working it down. Working off of it. Maybe not having designs on that becoming anything, but they were working pieces off of it for sure. But up here is something a bit more interesting. If I can find it. Oh, I see it. Always check things like that. You never can tell. Could be a little... Oh, bless me. Oh, excuse me. Could be a little hammerstone or something right here. Oh, I saw that. Now, the camera really shows the indentation nice. Now, can that happen in nature? Yeah, it sure can. But what I have found is that if you find one of these, and I call them nutting stones, the majority of the time, the opposite side is going to have the same exact pit in it. So let's see. Yeah. Right there. So there you go. Nice little nutting stone. I don't know why. It seems like I've seen guys over in Tennessee and Kentucky. Boy, their variation on nutting stone, or their version of nutting stones, are so much more clearly defined. Those pits are just really worn in there. I'm guessing maybe it's just the material they were using. And, you know, they'll find a rock like this. It's just got pitting all over it. Usually, though, the ones I find are just like that. Little small stones with a dimple on one side and then the dimple on the other. I like them, though. All right, I'll turn you back on if I find something else. There we have one poking out, finally. That's all you could see from the surface. Intact Morrow Mountain Point right there. We will take it. Man, oh man, what a blade that would have been. I want you to look how thin that is. My gosh, that's a dream find right there. If it were only intact. It's always amazing how well they were able to work that material, which is so hard to work. Not only big, but a beautiful color too. All right, hit a little hot spot right in here. Very crude stuff though. You can see they were trying very hard on that one. Hit a big old stack on it. Just couldn't get that one thinned down. And then I noticed right over here, we got this, which is a little bit better. It's still pretty crude, but you know what? I'll take a crude one any day. So I'm still in that same spot. That's where those two crude ones came from, right here. Got the back of a Morrow Mountain. So 3 in one small area. If you'll notice, see the erosion in this part of the field? gets really heavy, some of those bigger rocks start popping up. That's why I'm finding these right here. This dirt right in here is not nearly as washed as what I got, so a little concentration in this spot. I'll go a little bit slower through here. Well, walking these drains is a really good way of finding them for sure. But man, there's so many broken. Got a little heartbreaker laying up here. I see the base of it already. You see it? Right there. Big old Savannah River broken. All right. Maybe one day I'll piece one of these brokes together. Never know. Yeah, I'm not sure. That may be a part of a big broken blade. A couple interesting things right in here. Huh. So that's actually a big old preform. You see the football shape. They were working that one down. Probably down into a big blade. I'm gonna leave it here. And there was something right here. Come on. And that's just a flake. All right, guys, as you can see, still waiting for a new plow for the year, but I did just run across that. One of the Garden Creek style points. That's a little broken something. And I've got one other base to show you. Another Garden Creek. But guys, I just spotted something. It's broken, but it looks spectacular and it looks old. Oh my gosh. Look at the flaking on that. I've not even touched it or taken a close look. But that looks significantly older than anything else I've seen around here. Or it's just a different material. Oh my gosh. Becky out, look at that. Never seen that material. Oh my gosh, what a killer that would have been. Yeah, that's just very uncommon for this area. Not even sure what to call that. I guess, if I had to guess, I would say maybe a rhyolite. I'm not very familiar with it. But look at those flakes driven across the face of that thing. Oh my gosh. All right, I have got actually a pretty good surprise. The leaves have been raked away from a spot that is normally covered, and that presents a whale of an opportunity. I think I've got one spotted, but I'll show you this first. It's the back side of a blade, but I think I've got a whole point laying right here. Sure looks like one to me. What do you think? Sure enough. It's a nice one. I have a suspicion I'm going to find a few today. You don't pass up opportunities to look at bare dirt whenever you get the chance. Oh boy, this is a good, exciting time of the year. Look at all this fresh ground broken up. It's a little bit early. Hadn't had enough rain on it to really wash a lot of things out, but it's always worth checking. And guys, I got something cool here. I want you to look at what's laying right there. It's the first one I've ever found. And that is a hoe. Look at that. It's just been worked in there. It's been bound on the end of a stick. It's not a tomahawk, not an axe. It's not the right sort of stone for that, but it is perfect for hoeing up the ground, doing a little digging. That is a cool piece. Wow. All right, let's see if anything else washed out. There we go. Look at that. Look at that piece of crystal right next to a more mountain. Pretty material, but I like that better. Well, this piece is a little obscure, but that is part of a stone bowl. That inside is just as smooth. Very cool. I'll add that to a few other pieces that I found, and maybe we'll get lucky and get a match one day. Very cool. There we go. Look at that. Look at that piece of crystal right next to a more mountain. Pretty material, but I like that better. There's one sitting out in the plain open. A big old chunk off the tip. Kind of crude, ain't it? But it's a good size one. Well, guys, I wanted to take just a minute and give you a little bit of a tour of the collection. I don't think I've ever done that. And some of these early frames are combinations of things that I found at one particular site, along with a few other items that have been gifted to me. And here's a frame that is all mine. So let's see if we know our point types. We got Guilford, Mora Mountain, Savannah River, Appalachia style. Those are very, very similar. And then across the top, we have got a lot of the Garden Creek style points. I love genealogy. That is a great, great, great grandfather. And old bottles, including some with a little personal connection. That dairy right there belonged to some of my wife's family, a local dairy. And some metal detecting finds. They've all kind of fell over. I need to pick those back up. Tokens. I love a good token. One of my favorite metal detecting finds is the old Confederate D-guard Bowie that we had rebuilt. But the guard is all original. And there's my dad. He played football for Bear Bryant at Alabama. So I've got some of his remembrances. And there's me when I still had hair. Had more hair now the day I was born than I do now. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, this right here. This is one of my favorite sites. I spend more time than I'd like to admit right here at this table. It's got such cool things, and they're so obscure too. These are the things that when you first start collecting, you tend to miss. You saw a few of these things though. There is that rhyolite blade. There is the nutting stone from this video. And there is a piece of stone bowl. So I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces, and they do not line up yet. And here is the hoe, or the adze. Now, the next video, I want to do a little bit of hands-on history. How about that? I want to recreate what I believe this tool was and demonstrate why I think it's not a grooved axe, but actually a digging tool. An adze or a hoe is what we would call it. So I'm going to do that in the next video. I'm going to take a who knows how old nutting stone. We're going to put it back into use. Now, you guys know that I find a lot of broke stuff. What do I do with it? Well, I keep it. I keep it because I love it. Do you know how much learning there is in these piles? And each pile is site specific. When I get done this video, all this goes back in this bag. This stays here. This stays here. Site specific. And all this pottery, it came from the same location. And that pottery came from the same location. I love broken artifacts. I mean, every piece here was handled by a Native American, and it had a purpose. What was he doing with that? All I can tell you is that does not belong where I found it. That was brought in. Brought in, all non-native materials, and then a ton of native material. Each piece has its story. I love that. You know what that is? That is a finger bone belonging to a black bear, but boy, oh boy, got the scare of my life after I'd had that for about a year and a half. And I decided to try to figure out what it was. Let me tell you something. The human finger bone from that joint to the first knuckle looks an awful lot like that. I had a police officer tell me that knew some forensics. He said bear finger bones quite often get mistaken for human, but he did verify that is a bear. All right, guys. Enough of show and tell. I thought I'd just let you take a little peek into my world. And you never know. I might be pulling one of these pieces out one day and telling you another story, because I'm still learning as I go.